Welcome to my channel, Sunshine Shows. I'm Calvin. Thank you so much for stopping by today, especially my new viewers and new subscribers. Your kindness, your generosity, support my channel has truly been amazing. I'll never take that for granted. I'm a 58-year-old American who grew tired of the rat race and decided, you know what, I'm going to move to the Philippines, searching for new life. Well, I found that new life, and I want to share with you my boots on the ground experiences, the only way I know how. Just by giving you the nitty gritty, exactly what I'm seeing, what I'm living, what I'm experiencing. Never going to sugarcoat that. The subject of my vlog today is why I think the Philippines could open now and why it won't. But before I do that, I just want to send a shout out, a thank you to Pumpkin Joe's Philippine Experience, Ronald Sims. He recently sold me an Xbox special edition for my son down in Zamboanga. And I just want to let you know, Ron, that he received it today and he's happy as a lark. We had brought his Xbox over with us when we came, and because of the frequent brownouts down there, something was damaged. It damaged his Xbox some kind of way. It was unfixable, and I priced some here that were just out of my price range, man. And you put that one online, I saw it, and because I trust you, man, I bought it, man. And I tell you, man, thank you so much. He really needs that, especially during the lockdowns and stuff here. But before I get started, too, I want to put this disclaimer out here that my vlog today is not a critique of the Philippine government, the IATF, any officials or anything like that. It's just what I'm seeing, man. It's actually what I'm experiencing and how I'm living today. I think that the Philippines can reopen. It's not just me, you know. And I think that it should go ahead and reopen. I'm just like a lot of people thinking, hey, we're just going to get to the point of being able to live with COVID, just like we do all these other common diseases and viruses. I'm not one of them guys who says, oh, the COVID's not real. I know it's real. And, you know, but I'm not afraid of the COVID. Okay, if I got to die, then I'm going to die, you know, but we're going to have to learn to live with it. And they should open up now, because doing nothing is going to bring you nothing. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. Things are just going to get worse and worse and worse. I think that we should reopen here, and that money that you're going to, that increased revenue, you should earmark a great amount of it to help fight the COVID. The development of vaccines or buying more vaccines. Of course, the brave frontliners, you know, the nurses, the police, the military, you know, everybody at the airport, the hotels and all that. These are frontliners. Money toward the frontliners. Money going to develop more hospitals, to build more hospitals, to take care of the patients who are being affected by COVID. Because doing nothing is going to get you nothing. And I'm going to tell you, man, just from the limited travel that I've been able to do around Negros Occidental, and I've been all over this place, Sapalay City, Powerway Island, my day-to-day activities here in San Carlos City, Lackawanna Island, Escalante, just all around this place, I haven't caught the COVID. And you know why? Because of the mask, because of the shield, because of the social distancing. All right. As a matter of fact, there's a gentleman here, and I think he's a senator or congressman. He's got a bill proposing that we get rid of the shield. And then this is coming from somebody near the top says this. He says, no. He says, it's just science says that, you know, if you combine the shield, a mask, and social distancing, it's like having the vaccine. Well, if that's the case, then go ahead and open it up, man, and the money you're going to generate is going to help fight the COVID, because you can't do nothing over here, man, and that's what's happening. And see, I'm not a scientist, okay, but neither is the IATF, and neither are a lot of the people who are making these decisions. But every resort that I've been to, and I've been to a lot of them, man, they're full. People are out there, they're not wearing masks, they're not wearing shields, they're not social distancing. They're living as if there is no COVID. And what's been the result? Over here, I haven't been sick. They're contact tracing. You know, I go to the store just about every day, and there's no reason why this place couldn't open up. And I know what you're saying. Oh, the COVID's bad. Because, you know, over here on the front pages, that's all it is COVID. I mean, there's nothing else literally on the front pages here. And that's one of the reasons why it's not going to open. Because they have an unrealistic view of the COVID. One thing that we know by now is that COVID is not this scary monster that we thought it was in the beginning. We know that there's some things to do to keep it at bay, but nothing is not one of them. And that's what's going on over here. Nothing's really being done other than lockdowns. And that's creating more problems than the actual pandemic, than the actual virus. And just from my personal experiences and knowing that I haven't been affected, that we can let people come in here, especially fully vaccinated people. And if we continue to go about our business the way that we are now, there's no reason why not to open it. And you're saying, oh, it's worse than what you could ever imagine, Calvin. Just listen to the frontliners. Well, you're getting a skewed view when all you're doing is reporting from the frontliners. Are there a lot of people dying? Absolutely, but they're going to die anyway. Okay, a certain amount of people are going to die anyway. Is that good? No. Should we do everything in our power to prevent those most vulnerable from dying? Absolutely. And that's what that extra income is going to do, from go ahead and opening up the economy. Going ahead and opening up the Philippines. Because doing nothing is going to bring about nothing. All right, but if all you're doing is reporting from the front lines where they're bringing all the worst cases of COVID, then guess what? You're going to think the COVID is worse off than it really is. It's no different than if I report every day from the police station and you're bringing in criminal after criminal after criminal. I'm going to leave there thinking, man, the crime is a lot worse than it really is. I'm be afraid to come out of my front door. But we know now that the COVID's not this scary monster. We can do some things that can prevent that. But the unrealistic view is the one thing. Another reason why it's not going to open over here is because what I call the unrealistic expectations. There's an article, and I'll put it in the link below in the description, in the Field Star today. It called it the impossible desire to achieve a zero level infection. See, that's never going to happen. You're not going to eradicate this COVID. You know, again, we're going to have to learn to live with the COVID like we do all the other common diseases and the viruses. See, but thinking you're going to eradicate it and think you're going to get it down to just a small level that you can't detect it, and then you're going to decide to open up. No, see, you're being ultra, and this is the words of the article, not me, ultra cautious. And see, that creates problems within itself. It brings us to the third reason why it's not going to open. The fear. There's another article, I'm going to put it down here. 89% of Filipinos are afraid of catching the virus. Why? It's not even going to affect you. It's not going to kill you. See? But because you're afraid, then guess what? It paralyzes you. You're not going to do anything. You're not going to reopen. There's no reason this place shouldn't be reopened. This place cannot afford to get left behind when everybody else is opening up around the world. Even in Asia. You know, Asia's got that strict sort of thinking though. They're really ultra cautious. See? But even that, the economies in Singapore, Vietnam, Thailand, they're going up, man, because At least the domestic people are able to roll around. You know, here you can't roll them around. The borders are closed. There's no reason for them to be closed. I was reading today where they're wanting more increased quarantine in Davao. And I'm saying, why? It's not working. There's an article, I put it in here too, that it's a couple of weeks old, but it's from Manila Times. It's a great article. He's saying, where are you going, COVID? You know, and he was talking about him leaving New York City May the 17th to come back to the Philippines. Now, when he was leaving, the United States was getting on with life as usual now. The new normal, you know. Things had just loosened up. They basically like, okay, we know as much as we're going to know about this COVID. We're going to do the things we need to do. Even with the vaccines, because I'm going to tell you something. We don't have enough history with the vaccines yet to even know whether or not it's going to work. But we do. But what that does is produce a mindset of, okay, a confidence that's saying, okay, you know, it's one thing I love about America. There's a lot of things that I don't love about, but one thing I love is that can-do attitude. We're going to beat this thing. We're not just going to sit around and not do nothing. And he said by the time he left there and everything's loosening back up, people are getting back to their normal lives. And if you don't think so, if you're sports, go back and watch some of these NBA games. They're sold out. Okay. We're getting to the point where, hell, you know, we know that we got to live with this thing. He says he gets to the Philippines May the 18th, and he's put on a 10-day quarantine. I remind you that when he left, it was only a 7-day quarantine, and he said no one told him about it. But in his article, he goes on to tell you about the mistakes of putting the restrictions and the quarantine together, and how that's not doing any good. It's actually making things worse. He says it, not me, that the quarantines are supposed to be one thing, not never ending, not an ongoing thing, that leads into the restrictions that will allow you, as long as you follow the restrictions, to get on with your life. And I'm with him. That's why I think that the Philippines could open and should open right now. But those three things that I tell you is the reason why they won't. Unrealistic view of the COVID. It's not this big scary monster, people, that we made it out to be. Okay? No matter what, if technology doubles every 5 years, we've learned enough in these 18 months, going on 2 years, to know what we have to do to keep this COVID at bay. But doing nothing is not one of them. And that's what's happening over here. The impossible desire to achieve a zero level infection. That's another reason. I call it unrealistic expectations. It's another reason why it's not going to open. You're not going to eradicate COVID. We're going to have to learn to live with it. Just like we do dengue over here, the flu, and all the other things that cause problems over here. You open up the economy, it's going to create and generate income that you can earmark for the frontliners, for the vaccines, for the care of the COVID, for those who are most affected by COVID. Building more hospitals. Okay, but doing nothing is going to generate nothing. All right, and then the fear. Because of the unrealistic views, it's created a fear here. 89% of the people here are afraid of catching COVID. Why? You've probably already had it already. Me and John was talking about that today. If the COVID is as bad as it is, and I believe it is, I'm sure I've had it already. But I'm not afraid of it. I know that even if I take the vaccine, it doesn't guarantee me anything, but it's just going to give me a confidence, okay, the confidence that we need over here right now. This place could open up right now, I guarantee you, man, because I'm seeing it with my own eyes. My travels around this place, man, when I go to these resorts, the people are there as if there is no COVID. There is no ITF there with a microscope. We're going about our businesses as pre-pandemic. I'm doing it. Not once, several times. in the mountains of above San Carlos City, in San Carlos City, Powerway Island, Sapalai City, at the beach. Y'all see me? Lackawanna Island. These places are packed with people. They're shoulder to shoulder. There's no mask. There's no shield. There's no social distancing. And nobody's getting sick. Or if they are getting sick, they're not having any infections. We're not taking tests. We don't have the vaccines. But yet, here I am right now talking to you right now. I'm not dead. That's proof enough that this place can open. But it's not, guys. So thank you so much for stopping by. Again, this isn't a critique of the Philippine government. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing, what I'm living, what I'm experiencing in the midst of this pandemic. Okay? No, I'm not on the front line, because if I was on the front lines, I'd be telling you just what the papers are. The only place I see COVID over here is in the newspaper and on the news. Okay? And the front line, where it just so happens that's where they're taking all the COVID people. So of course you're going to come away from there thinking, oh, this COVID a whole lot worse. You say you don't have the money? Well, guess what? Opening up the economy is going to generate the income that you can fight the COVID. Because doing nothing is going to produce nothing, guys. Okay? So thank you so much for stopping by today. I really, really appreciate it, man. You know, just when some guy toward the top says, with the mask, with the shield, with social distancing, it's like having the vaccine, then that gets my head, my thinking going, guys. And then when you read these brilliant articles by these people who know a whole lot more about me, you come to that conclusion, man. And then from my personal experiences, this place could open up tomorrow, man. And it wouldn't be any worse than it is now. It would actually be better. So if in America, it's getting late, before you let your head hit the pillow, please find somebody to help. But if you're on one of them late grocery runs, beer runs, weed runs, you're just getting off second shift, or you're on your lunch break, you see somebody on the street, buy them something to eat, buy them something to drink. Man, y'all back to normal over there. See? Even in the middle of the pandemic, Americans was like, man, we're going to fight this thing. You're not going to, this COVID is not going to stop us. We need that same thinking over here. If you're in the Philippines, it's early. It's not even 10 a.m. yet. I'm sweating, man, because I'm getting excited. I'm ready for this thing to open up, man. There's no reason why it shouldn't be open. See, the Philippines cannot afford to lag behind the rest of the world, man. And doing nothing will create nothing. If you're in the Philippines, man, it's early. There's no reason why you shouldn't intentionally go out and find somebody to help today. I don't care if you got 2 pesos, you should be giving somebody 1. That's just the way I'm thinking, man. Tonight I'm going to have my 1,000 peso pandemic giveaway that we've been doing every week since this lockdown, since the pandemic, okay, to try to give back to the Filipino who's lost his job, whose hours have been cut, the businesses who have closed or not got back up to normal yet. Why do I do it? Because I want a pat on the back? No, because people over here need help. Somebody did it for me. Because if I don't know anything, I know this one thing for sure. When we help other people, we help ourselves. Take care, stay safe, stay COVID free. I'll see you next time.